Woke up and I'm laying on the money, pal. Got your bitch, she jaded. Counting money now. Woke up and I'm laying on the money, pal. Making money now. Counting money now.
Man, I'm really trying to fucking.
Hi, everyone. We're First Seed Sports, Kyle, Mike, and Zach, and we are bringing you our end-of-the-season projections. We're going to run through our Offensive Rookie of the Year, our Defensive Rookie of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, all that good stuff. We're also going to go through and give you guys the odds on each and every one of these. Not necessarily our recommendations or our expert picks or anything, but these are some of the guys that we like the best. We'll give each a little explanation for each player so you guys can kind of feel out our reasoning a little bit, see if you agree, see if you disagree, see if we're idiots, who knows. So we're going to start it off with the Offensive Rookie of the Year. Kyle, go ahead for your pick.
Taking number one overall, Joe Burrow at the sweet plus 225. I feel like I don't even have to back that up. He's a great quarterback. He's hopping into a position with two great receivers,
Okay.
offense that can support him. I'm living with it.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yep, and I'm going to agree with that. I chose Joe Burrow too. I just think that mainly it usually goes to a quarterback, and I think that he just has the potential this year to do what he has to do to win it.
Well, I'm hopping all aboard the hype train here. I'm getting on the Clyde Edwards-Helaire hype train. I think that it's been nothing but good stuff out of camp. I've seen positive reports. The team's hyping him up. They're saying he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. So I'm going to hop on that train, and I think that he really has a chance to perform as one of the top running backs in the league. So that's why I'm going with Helaire. So now we got Defensive Rookie of the Year. Kyle?
Good old Chase Young. I really don't see another option for this. I think he's, at this point of the year, the clear winner.
Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going Chase Young too at plus 200. Another name I was really looking at was Xavier McKinney. I really love the guy, but I don't think his impact is going to be as big as Chase Young, so I went with Chase Young.
And I also went with Chase Young. We kind of went chalk here. Chase Young is the favorite at plus 200. Just to backpedal real quick, Mike and Kyle both went with Joe Burrow at plus 225. Edwards-Helaire is at plus 400. So he's a little less favored, but it's not very far off. So he's right there. Once again, Chase Young is at plus 200. Another guy that I just wanted to quick mention who I could see really competing for the Defensive Rookie of the Year is Isaiah Simmons in Arizona. I think his jack-of-all-trades personality is really going to show on the field, especially in a Cliff Kingsbury kind of gadget-type system. On both sides of the ball, he likes to get the most out of his players. So I think that his versatility could really speak volumes to his potential on the field, and we might see him sneak in there as one of the more productive rookies. And generally, linebackers show pretty quickly. I know that the Bosa brothers have kind of set up a new name for defensive ends, but linebackers also have a pretty good reputation during the rookie years. So, Kyle, we are going to move on to Coach of the Year.
Give me the betting favorite at plus 1,200. Good old Bruce Arians. I think he's being handed a silver platter with Tom Brady at quarterback and with the dangerous duo of Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. With the addition of Rob Gronkowski, can't forget that. He's going to win more than he did last year. I think it's going to be a hard time for them to not get a playoff spot. And from last year, that's a big jump. I think he wins it.
Yeah, I was looking at Arians too. I like Arians. The only thing, less turnovers this year, obviously. That's probably what you're going to get without Jameis. And that should translate to helping out the defense, which if the defense does strive, I would go Arians. But I'm going to go Mike McCarthy here. I think that literally being a Dallas fan myself, I know how many games last year we lost because of coaching. And I'm so glad to see Jason Garrett gone. And I really think that McCarthy comes in here, like he said, with a new mindset, new playbook, and I think they win some games this year. And I know all eyes are on Dallas in that division. So he's definitely got a story to hype his Coach of the Year validation up.
And, Mike, not only did your Cowboys get rid of Jason Garrett, they gave him to a division rival. I don't know how you managed that. But So he's up in New York. So see you, Giants.
Yeah.
My pick here is actually Kevin Stefanski of the Browns. He is at plus 1,800. I really like him to just kind of take over a defunct system in Cleveland. I think that hiring Freddie Kitchens was hiring the hot hand. They were trying to catch lightning in a bottle with him. He is not an NFL head coach by any stretch of the mind. But Stefanski's a mastermind. I think that with given the right tools, which he has, he's got 2 amazing receivers. He's got 2 fantastic running backs. And really in Minnesota, we saw him work with a game manager at quarterback with Kirk Cousins. He didn't ask him to do a ton. So I think that Baker Mayfield's going to be okay. I think his overall workload and his overall what they're asking of him is going to be turned down a little bit. So I think that's going to make that offense shine a little bit. It's kind of got some dirt on him after last year, but I think that we could see the Browns pull in 10-6, 11-5, somewhere in there, and surprise some people.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, we're going to move on to Offensive Player of the Year. This one got a little more tough. We got some real good talent in the NFL right now to pick from, and a lot of guys who do a lot of things specially. So Kyle, go ahead.
My pick is Christian McCaffrey at plus 1,000. I don't think he'll duplicate what he did last season, which was astounding, but something pretty close, which should be enough to win it this year. Michael Thomas won it last season after breaking I think it was the full season reception record. But I think McCaffrey could have won it this past year, and I think he will do it this year. He is great talent. I don't think he's got too much competition at this award.
Right. Yeah, I'm going with McCaffrey too. Last year, it was really between McCaffrey and Michael Thomas for who was going to win the award, and I just think that Thomas has a little bit more regression than McCaffrey does this year. So for that, I go McCaffrey.
All right, well, I guess I'm the hot takey one of the bunch then. I'm going elsewhere. I'm going Derrick Henry at plus 1,000 to win. I think that he's a beast. I think in Tennessee, obviously they have Ryan Tannehill there. I don't think they can justify doing anything else other than giving Derrick Henry the ball, 30 times a game. I think he's just kind of one of those running backs that we only see every once in a while, kind of the bruiser, just freak of nature back that we just don't see often. And I think that they can't neglect the talent on the field. So Derrick Henry's my favorite pick here. I think that he's going to see a lot of touchdowns and he'll probably come close to, if not exceed, his yardage total from last season. So I think we could see a huge, even better season from him this year than last year. And last year he seemed like just an absolute freak playing the game. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do this year.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll flip sides of the ball. We are going to go to Defensive Player of the Year. This one we had a little discrepancy. This one's a hard one to call. So let's go ahead and talk through this one a little bit.
I'm taking Nick Bosa, that is, at plus 1,200 odds. I think San Fran's got a defense. He's taken that defense by charge, and he's going to control it again. He's going to have another great season. I love him this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went with the odds on this one. I went with Jamal Adams. In comparison, Nick Bosa was at plus 1,200. Jamal Adams is at plus 3,000. So I wanted a little bit more money there, but I like Jamal. I think he has a lot to prove this year. Going to a new team, having his old coach say stuff about him. I hope he's fired up, and I believe in him this year. So I believe he's a big part of that defense. I think having a better defense around him also is going to make him step up his game and have more chances for turnovers and stuff.
Yeah, and I'm going to stay in kind of the show me position with Kyle. I think TJ Watt has a very good chance to pull out this award this year. He is at plus 1,400, so he's a little less favored than Nick Bosa. I almost said Joey Bosa. He's a little less favored than Nick Bosa, and I think he's really been kind of overlooked in his first couple seasons. He's a difference maker in that defense. He's the reason that front is as strong as it is. And I think that he's finally going to get some of the respect that he deserves this year. think bringing in Minka Fitzpatrick last year was a massive deal for them, and I think that the help in the secondary is really going to show up front. And TJ Watt could show some really high sack totals, pushing him towards the front of the Defensive Player of the Year conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would have been my clear second choice too. Definitely with the better defense this year, or better offense. I mean, hopefully they're not on the field as much. So I that would be my clear second choice right there.
Right. I think that some of the Pittsburgh, they were one of the best defenses in the league last year, but I think that some of their stats get downplayed a little bit because that offense was so bad. They couldn't stay. The defense was on the field all the time. They were single-handedly winning games for them. It's a miracle that they finished at 8-8 last year,
Right.
basically just on the back of the defense alone. You throw in a better offense, and they're basically the Patriots from last year, an insane defense and a slightly above average offense, and look at that. So I think that I'm excited for their prospects this year. I think that they could really be one of the Super Bowl contenders, in all honesty. I know that's a little hot takey too, but I think that the Steelers could return to their dominance of old. So, okay. So from there, we will move on to, speaking of comebacks, I guess, not only the Steelers, but let's go with the comeback player of the year. Kyle, who you got?
I went with homeboy Matthew Stafford at plus 800. I love him. He was on pace before his back injury last season to do wonders. He was on pace to have his best season. And truthfully, I see him returning to form and putting those numbers back up. He's got the weapons in Galladay and Marvin Jones and Hawkinson, the addition of DeAndre Swift in the backfield. I think he's going to be great. I was tempted to go with Roethlisberger. I think he returns to form as well, but I just feel Stafford's got something in him this year, and he's going to light it up. Mike?
Yeah, I feel the same way too. Those are my two guys, would be Stafford and Roethlisberger. Ben, I love Big Ben. I've had praise from him all year on Twitter and stuff like that. I just think that the Steelers are going to be in situations where they're ahead in games. And I don't think that Ben's going to have to do what he's used to be doing, which is dropping back 500, 600 times in a season. So I think Stafford does do that this year. I think that he's in a tougher division there, and I think they're going to play from behind in a few games this year. And I think that Stafford goes to the air and gets what he needs to win comeback player of the year.
Real quick, Stafford's odds there at plus 800. I just want to mention something about Big Ben too. He seems like a little bit of a risky pick to me just because his injury is so obscure in the NFL. He needed elbow surgery, which is he actually had Tommy John surgery. For any of the baseball fans out there, it's a replacement of the UCL, or a repairment of the UCL in your elbow, and it's something that we haven't necessarily seen in the NFL. He's been back and he's been working out with Juju and Deontay and James Washington. But I'm not exactly sure how it's going to affect him. It generally makes pitchers throw harder, but obviously we're talking about a quarterback here, not a pitcher, and his velocity doesn't particularly matter. So it's a little bit of a risky pick. But if the injury pans out, I think that he could be a great pick. There's definitely a lot of upside in that offense.
Mm-hmm.
So I just real quick will touch on mine. I picked Rob Gronkowski at plus 1,100. I think there's a ton of upside. You pair him with his BFF, Tom Brady, and put him in a high-scoring offense, and it might just be the recipe for success. And that's kind of what I'm banking on here. I don't really have a lot to back it up. His weight is down. He's a lot smaller than he was in New England. I'm actually a little optimistic that that's going to do better for his body. Not necessarily as much bulk to carry around on the knees, on landing and putting his arm down, stopping himself, those sort of things. I know he's had joint issues. So that's kind of my pick here. I think that he and Brady turn back the clock a little bit. So at plus 1,100, I'm going with Rob Gronkowski for comeback player of the year. All right, let's get to the good ones. We have MVP. Kyle.
Give me Russell Wilson at plus 800. I'm a big Russ fan. I think this is finally the year that they let Russ run loose and just control the game how he wants to run the game. And that would allow him to be Russell Wilson. He's been tied down to such a big running game that I feel like he hasn't been able to be his true self and just let loose. And I'm just kind of hoping that this is the year. If they do, it's a big season coming for Russell Wilson. I just hope that Pete Carroll will wisen up and let it happen. But I see them winning games regardless, and Russell Wilson is that game manager. He'll be at the charge for Seattle for a great long time, and he's going to do well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Russell Wilson was very intriguing. I actually do think that in the NFC West, which is arguably the toughest division in football, I think that Russell Wilson and the Seahawks do win that division this year. So he was definitely up there for one of my picks. But I'm going Mahomes. I just think a healthy Mahomes with a full 16 games under his belt, that offense is going to click no matter what. So I went Mahomes there.
I also went Mahomes plus 400. He's one of the favorites. Don't really have a lot to say there. He's a freak, probably one of the best quarterbacks that we've seen in recent memory. I think that he's thinking about like the most electric quarterbacks I can remember watching, going back to Aaron Rodgers a couple of years ago, is about the closest thing that I think we've seen to Pat Mahomes. And I think Pat Mahomes is actually probably better than that in his third year. Or fourth, I think it's his fourth year now. Am I right on that? Fourth. Okay, in his fourth year, we're gonna sit back, get your popcorn. So let's move on. Last one. I think we are all pretty high on Pat Mahomes. We got our Super Bowl matchup. We didn't pick winners yet. Maybe I'll put you guys on the hot spot, and you can tell me who you got as your winner. But we got our Super Bowl matchups. Kyle, go ahead.
I'm taking Chiefs versus Seahawks. As they said with Mahomes and the Chiefs, it's not much you have to explain. I think they return again. There's not much opposition to that thought. They're a great team. But the Seahawks, I'm riding high with my Russell Wilson MVP pick. They win games, whether they're a good team or not. They know how to win. And I think this year they've figured it out with the addition of Jamal Adams. I think they can turn things around and find themselves in the championship again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for my Super Bowl matchup, I went Chiefs-Packers. Chiefs speak for themselves, like Kyle said. I'm not going to explain that. I just think that offense, if anything, just got better. So I see them back in the Super Bowl, and then I see them playing the Packers this year. I think making the NFC Championship game last year, and I'm pretty sure they get kind of blown out in that game. It was kind of one-sided. Most of the game. So I think that's a good it's a good shock for the younger guys. They have a young team, young head coach. They all got the experience they need. So I think this year Rodgers takes it to the Super Bowl.
I also have the Chiefs. I think I'm going to talk about the other side of the ball for the Chiefs. I think that bringing back Frank Clark, he was under contract, but having Frank Clark, having Tyrann Mathieu, having I'm blanking on his name, who is Chris Jones. Signing him, locking him up to a long-term contract, I think they're set up to be potentially the next dynasty, like we saw with the Patriots forever. It got to the point where the Patriots were annoying because they were always in the Super Bowl. I think we could see that with the Chiefs. They are just a hell of a team, plain and short. And I have them playing the Cowboys in the Super Bowl. I think if there's anything that this says, it says that I think the AFC is a little more top heavy and the NFC is a little murkier. I think that there's a lot of teams that could potentially compete. I think we all have a lot of respect for the NFC West. I think they could all beat up on each other between the Rams, the Cardinals, the Seahawks, and I'm blanking. Who's the other team there?
Cardinals.
What's that?
Did you say Cardinals?
Cardinals, Rams, Seahawks.
49ers.
And 49ers. I was blowing us up there. But I think that they could all really beat up on each other. That's a great division. The NFC North is the same thing. NFC, it's all equal divisions between the four of them. So, but I pulled the Cowboys out. I think that this is the year that they really have it all together. They got an incredible wide receiver. They got a once every decade type talent at wide receiver in CeeDee Lamb. I'm really high on him. And to pair him with the deep threat and Amari Cooper and the underspoken Michael Gallup, I think he's a really solid receiver as well. And on top of that, Zeke and Dak Prescott, it's just a match made in heaven. I think that this is the year it comes together. and they finally get back to that exciting Dallas team that we saw back in 2016 when they were 13-3 and they put together a pretty deep run. So I think that's going to be my matchup is Chiefs and Cowboys. So why don't we go ahead and let's who do we have for the Super Bowl? Kyle, who you got?
Chiefs.
Chiefs, Mike?
I'm going Packers this year.
Packers, okay. I'm going for the back-to-back too. I got the Chiefs.
So hard not to.
Yeah.
It is hard not to.
It really is. And with drafting Edwards-Helaire, having a young core in Mahomes and Tyreek and locking up Kelsey for the next 5 years, like I said, the dynasty is just set up. So it's going to be a season to watch. It really is. I think that there's a lot of really good things coming out of the NFL this year. I'm very optimistic with COVID so far. Fingers crossed, everything's been pretty good. So we'll wait and see. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was just our quick rundown once again. Let us know what you think. We're always opening to hearing why we're wrong or we're not perfect.
Yeah, tell us where we're wrong.
Yeah, for sure. We love the feedback. We love to have a little bit of a community going. We love to speak with our fans. So let us know what you think. And thanks for watching.